right, Jason Stan with TechSideline.com here with the newest Virginia Tech commitment, Mattheus Carroll. And Mattheus, we talked last week. Good timing. We had we were talking about your top three. So you picked Virginia Tech over Duke, Virginia, and it came down to Virginia Tech. So what was it about Virginia Tech that you liked and decided to commit there?
Really just a combination of the two coaches, the two D-line coaches, Coach Tapp and Coach Terling. Just their NFL experience and, all the knowledge that they have, I truly believe will help develop me to move on to the next level. And then also the other guys recruiting me, Coach Fuente, Coach Hamilton, and then Coach Williams. We all built good relationships. And then I just really had a good visit there. That was like the last visit I really got to get in before all the shutdowns happened. And it was really good. We got a good academic presentation, so I feel good about the university. So I really just feel confident in it. It's just like a really good full picture.
So when we talked last week, I want to say it was Wednesday. I know you were telling me that, you had no idea where you want to go between those three. You knew it was going to be one of those three. But what changed in those couple of days that, really made you figure out that was where you wanted to go?
Yeah, so really with Duke, it was just more so like a stronger evaluation of how you made. I had to literally line up the pros and cons for each of the schools. And I just sort of figured out then once I lined it up and I had a visual of it, it just became more and more clear to me. And each of the three, they were really, really close. It was not really a situation where I don't think either or any of the schools in the top three was a bad decision. I think truly they would have all worked out for me. It was just about finding the best decision for me. But yeah, I just really sat down with my parents and had a real conversation, and really literally wrote down the pros and cons of each, and then we figured it out then.
So what was your parents' reaction? What did they say? What was kind of their thought on you deciding to go to Virginia Tech?
Yeah, so honestly, my parents throughout this whole thing, they've pretty much said Virginia Tech is the best balance in what I want in my college decision. I think academically they're stable. Obviously not a Duke, but they're definitely a really good academic institution. And then football-wise, they have a really good competitive environment. They have the history of developing guys. So it's just they have the better balance. Obviously, there's not much stability yet, I would say, for Maryland right now. But I do think that will happen eventually. It's just a situation that you would have to believe in. And then also Duke academically, they're really good. But on the flip, with football, competitively, they wouldn't, I don't think, hold up to Virginia Tech. So my parents, they really were pushing. Honestly, they were probably the best recruiters for Virginia Tech throughout this whole thing. But they were pulling hard for them. They ultimately left it up to me. It was just all about really, like I said, finding what was the best decision for me. And they, were open with each of the schools, and we just figured it out.
Sure. So you mentioned Coach Tapp and Coach Tierlink. I know you talked about them pretty in depth when we talked last week, but when you really look at how much your decision, how much did they factor into your decision?
It was really good. Their coaching experience coaching and playing experience at the next level. It's super encouraging because I would say, even comparing it to schools again, the staff or the schools in my top three that didn't make it, their staffs don't really have that much experience for my position. So that was just really big for me, just seeing that, because actions speak louder than words, and that is definitely a resume that they have acted upon. So it was just super encouraging just to see that. I really don't think there's a better coaching D-line duo from any of the places that I've seen thus far, and that's not even just my top three. So it's just really a good development situation. They talk a lot about their strength and conditioning program as well, and how how successful it is. And I do think they can help me in that area too. Academically, I think they'll push me there. So I just think the situation in general would have just pushed me to become a better individual in all regards, not just football. Um, it was just everything, full
Sure.
body.
So on the field, you know, how the coach, whether that's Coach Tapp, Coach Chairlink, or even Coach Fuente, like how they talked about how they see you fitting in on that defense.
Yeah, they're implementing a new defensive scheme that Coach Terrell sort of ran at the Bills. And it's mostly like all his dad's stuff, obviously, because he was a very successful coach in the NFL. Um, and it's really just like I guess it's an NFL scheme. So it's going to take smart guys. It's going to take them to process the information on the field. So the guys have to be definitely smart, and they look at me as one of those guys that's going to be smart, be able to line up guys on the field and help them out with their assignments mid-play, or mid-snap or whatever. That's really what they talk about. They talk a lot about me being a leader for the program. They really do like my character, like my family. So being a leader for their program, and then also, I guess you can call it an on-field sort of coach, but that's really what they're looking for me to do, which I'm ready for. I definitely do believe that those are things I can bring to the program for sure.
So I got to ask. So I know your nickname. You go by Stretch. Tell me about that nickname. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it came from my sixth grade football coach. It was right when I moved on to a new program. I was new, and I was playing wide receiver at the time. And at the time, football, they call you by your last name.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying Carroll. He's like, man, Carroll's a little bit too long. Do you have a first name? So I told him Mattheus, and he was like, oh, that's a little bit too confusing for me. So then he said, do you have a nickname? And I was like, nah, man, I don't have a nickname. So I just went along with practice. They called me Carroll for a little bit. And I started to notice guys had nicknames on the team. It wasn't just me. It's probably like 3 or 4 of them. And then I was running a route. I think we were just practicing. I ran like a 9 route. And he came back and was like, okay, we're going to call you Stretch. And then that's really just how it happened. It's stuck ever since. So
yeah, it's crazy how that stuff sticks.
Yeah, because what really happened was that football program helped me get into my high school. So they regarded to me as Stretch. Mm-hmm. And then eventually my high school picked it up because my rec program did that. And obviously when my high school coach is referring me to college coaches, he's calling me Stretch as well. So now it's just filtered into my collegiate career. And then also my parents, they'll throw it in every once in a while. But they haven't really called me Stretch my whole life. It really just, like I said, picked up in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really stuck, honestly.
So even like Virginia Tech fans just need to know you as Stretch now, huh?
Yeah, no, I see it on Twitter. A lot of them just comment, say Stretch,
yeah.
or Carroll, something like that.
So I can see like some Stretch Armstrong, something in the stands, and like maybe you have your head on it or something like. Something's got to come up with Stretch. I don't know. We're gonna see what we can get going with that. So I think we were talking a little bit to Mattheus about kind of like the stuff. The coronavirus has affected everything, right? Stuff. Even where you are up in Maryland, still kind of opening up, still not quite the same. I guess tell me about like what you have been working on and what you feel like you still need to be working on going into, again, what's hopefully your senior year.
Yeah, so really right now I think strength is something I can bring to my game. Where I work out at is actually amongst my trainers. There's a lot of D1 offensive linemen, and then there's a few defensive linemen. They're playing at programs like Alabama, Navy, Holy Cross, Maine. There's a big guy from Maine. So like it's a really good competitive environment. And I'm just, lifting with those guys, sort of noticing like, what they're doing. I'm like, man, I really have a long ways to go as far as strength. So I think that's definitely big. Obviously at high school, you can't really see that as much, but when you're looking at guys who are doing what you're about to do, it's easier to see. So I think strength is a big thing. I'm also trying to work on my explosiveness. So when I'm doing my legs per se, I'll work on my speed within reps, not just necessarily lifting a ton of weight. So I'm actually trying to work on my speed, which is just really going to help with my explosiveness and ultimately help me get a better get off. and just being more explosive off the ball, which is something I think I can always improve on. And then I'm also doing some D-line drills and working on my technique, just polishing up, just trying to become a really good D-lineman, run past everything. And then lastly, I should say also, I'm trying to be more effective on the run game. So I'm currently sort of watching some of my favorite players. You have really nothing to do during quarantine. So I'm watching some of my favorite players, over again on YouTube and just trying to pick up on little things they're doing. Like, for instance, Chase Young, he has like a nice hesitation move off the ball. It's like his go-to move. I'm currently looking at that like every day, just trying to polish that up. So that's really what I've been doing training-wise and looking to get better my senior year for sure.
So I was going to ask you about your favorite players. So Chase Young is one of your favorite players?
Yeah, no, I can say firmly now. I mean, he was my favorite player at Ohio State. He was like the only reason why I really watched Ohio State. I'm not an Ohio State fan, but he's my favorite player for sure. I gotta support him, I guess, because he's from the DMV, but also just his game. The dude's lights out, and I think we have a lot of similarities. And I would definitely do look up to him as a football player.
So, kind of going forward, is December what you're looking at graduate, or are you looking at next spring?
Yeah, not next spring because my high school does not allow early graduation.
Gotcha.
I'm looking to do it next spring.
Okay. But, I mean, you're obviously the newest one, and it's been a pretty big class for Virginia Tech 2021 class. I guess, what have you thought of that class? And I'm assuming you have talked to them, but, like, what's that relationship been like with some of those guys that you will be coming in?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's definitely good. I actually got a chance to reach out to the big guy, Tyus. We chopped it up on a Zoom. It was actually nice because we all got to get on the Zoom together, so we were actually able to talk to each other opposed to just DMing on Twitter and stuff. So I got a feel for all those guys. We hit it off right away. The kid, I believe his name is Will Johnson. He's super cool guy. He's actually from my state, so we hit it off. It's just a few more. I saw they just picked up the kid Stroman. He has a good family history in the program, so that's super intriguing. I've been looking up his stuff, looking at his film. I watched the interview on him yesterday, so I'm just super excited, man. I'm looking forward to meeting those guys on campus and working with them, and just really just bonding, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. So the last question I'll ask you. So going forward, obviously they got some spots. They're still recruiting for 2022. Anybody you're working on to come with you to Virginia Tech?
No, I'm looking to recruit soon. I haven't really found a guy per se that we need. But I do have a friend. His name is Kylan Austin. He's in this area, the Baltimore area. He's a receiver, since like 3-star receiver, something like that. But I know we have some receivers for Tech, so it might be a little bit hard. But he's a guy that I definitely know that can play. I know he has a Tech offer. We actually visited the same day when when I went on my visit in March. So he's a guy that I'm kind of pulling for, but like I said, I just don't know the specifics of the whole situation because I know there's about 3 commits for the 21 class at receiver already.
Yeah.
But as far as that, I'm looking on Twitter though. I'm gonna definitely be tuned in when the guys that are recruiting. I'm gonna try to chip in and give them my 2 cents.
Cool. All right. He's the newest Hokie, Mattheus Carroll. You can just call him Stretch Carroll. Thanks, man. More
Thank you.
TechSideline.com.